folks. Welcome to my brand new podcast. Um, I have been thinking about starting my own podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it, for a very long time. It's been in my mind for probably more than a year. In fact, I have been recording a few videos, but I just haven't worked up my courage to do the editing, um, talk in front of the camera, and to I like to think I am an open book. I've lived long enough, have had plenty of experiences, and I look forward to many more that have, and I hope will continue to um, form who I am. But this podcast is, I would say, I want to focus on food, health, particularly women's health, but can also apply to men's health, overall health. I believe women's health, and women's reproductive health in particular have not been studied much. Food has been affecting women more because there are way more hormones in the food, but I'll get to each one of them in their own. I will allocate many videos for each of the subjects because that is what I have been working on for many, many years. Um, but I also want to have sort of, a suffragette 2.0, meaning women as a collective working towards women's future. Um, so, welcome to my channel. Um, I think I'm going to try today to do this in one shot without, I really don't want to go through the process of editing. Um, but so, the most important topic I want to talk about today is women and the voice we have and what we can do as a collective. I watched a video about women, about sexism, about a lot of these young voices. For example, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Emma Watson, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, Scarlett Johansson, um, each having some opinions, points of view about feminism, about sexism, and how these things play. Um, and one thing I notice in all of these women that I just cited or this video, these are all young women, accomplished women, meaning they have accomplished um, financial equity, if not more. They're not, just equity, but they have gained financial independence. Um, and most of them are either single or are okay being single, and that actually makes it easier to find a better man. And if there's anywhere in the world you can find a better man, it is right here in the USA because of democracy, because of the culture here, which is a melting pot of cultures from many different countries, and the cultural revolution, the sexual revolution that started off right here in the United States. Right after the men went off to war, the women had to, put their pants on and big girl pants on and go and work. And for the first time, get paid for work because women were always working, taking care of children. It was just never paid. It was, free labor, I like to call it, which is the fact. I will get to it one day. Um, some of the quotes I heard from this video, and I'm going to put the link to the video below. I'm sorry, I forgot. I need to give, I think it's Salty or someone. I will give credits to the video, but the quotes are actually from individuals in this video. It's like a collage. Um, Feminism is not a stick to beat other women with, says Emma Watson. Um, this is a Taylor Swift quote. A guy shares his experience and he's brave. A woman shares her experience, she's oversharing, or she's over emotional, or she's crazy, or like, watch out, she's going to write a song about you. Or in my case, watch out, she's going to talk about your story. And I am a Gen Xer, and I can tell you, for many years, I was reminded of loyalty. Loyalty meant no matter what happens within the close knit family or with the close knit people, friendships, whatever, you don't talk about it outside. You don't give it. No, 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 no. It's my lived experience. If I experienced something with another person, it's a lived experience. I don't want to beat others. It's, like Emma Watson says, feminism is not a stick to beat other women with, but um, I want to use my experiences, things I have heard, things I have dealt with, to help other women, the younger women. I have two daughters. And if anything, this podcast is to help their cause. Um, I think this was not Rihanna, Nicki Minaj saying, when I'm assertive, I'm a bitch. When a man is assertive, he's the boss, or boss stop, as she calls it. Um, so, what I want to bring is the perspective from a Gen Xer. So, I am, I could be the mom of these young people: Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Emma Watson. Maybe not quite, but I have friends with much older children. Let me put it that way. I had children much later in life, but I am a mom. I'm the mom generation. I'm an older woman, and I would say I had my own life experiences. I went through a divorce, but it did not make me bitter. Why? Because my focus was on my children. And when you handle divorces with not much bitterness, but a common goal being the children, so much positive can come out of it. Um, One thing, and from my point of view, what I can tell you is this, and this is for all those young women out there. The most important thing in life is financial equity. Most fathers and mothers want the best for their girls and boys, but I'm talking about girls here because I also have a son. Financial equity is a woman having the same access to money, wealth, as a young man does. And without it, you don't have a voice. You don't have a voice. Why? Because life weighs you down. Life weighs you down. And when life weighs you down, if you don't have the money, you can't hire help. If you don't have the money, you have to struggle just to look for a job. You will be working 60-hour weeks and you won't be able to buy a decent present for your children. And I'm going to speak from my own experience in this regard, but from my experience and someone who has raised 3 children and someone who's had education, I have a master's in computer engineering and I have a lot of experience and I'm still working. I can tell you, financial equity is the most important. The years you choose to take off, if you choose to take off, which I did, when I took time off, I started my own business. Lesser money for many years. Lesser income, I meant to say. And it's going to hit your purse. And when we went through the divorce, I still remember my ex-husband in anger, nicest guy, and he's one of my best friends now, said, I brought home the money. It hurt so much. So I realized that day that all the work I did to keep the home, all the work I did to raise the children, all the other work to create society, because I was an immigrant. So I had to create society. My mom was living far, far away, and my dad had passed away. None of them had moved to the West, so I was alone for a lot many years. So I was building, creating society for my children because I wanted to give the best life for my children. Um, all of that had no monetary value. Why, you ask? Because that's how the system is set up, has been set up until the sexual revolution of the late 50s and 60s, when the men were returning from war and the men wanted their women to stop going to work. Stop going to work meant stop making money, and the women resisted it because now they had the taste of money. Because when you have money, you can have a voice, you can make a few more choices. Um, and guess what? They want to send us back to that time where we depend on the man for money. And I believe, and this is my biggest input into this channel, is that women are not realizing that all the policies that are being set forth, the anti-abortion movement, I mean, it used to be laughable to think, taking away voting rights from women. But now there's actually noise in the public sphere about taking, what is it, the 19th Amendment? Or is it, yeah, 19th Amendment. Is this crazy that they want to take rights away from women so the women will go back to a pleading, genuflecting position? So, it's like a one stone, two bird situation. Um, make women dependable on men when you force them to have more kids. And the other side of the second one stone, two birds. The second bird is more jobs available if you push women out. I mean, I don't think that's going to be possible. That is not an accomplishable goal. I think we women as a collective need to gather together, need to rise up, and need to stop the other voices justifying non-empathetic ways. One thing I've noticed with the people of the women of, my peers, my Gen Xers, they're married with college going kids. And something I noticed with them is this: they want to keep the peace at home. A lot of them don't want to discuss politics at home. And what that means is things are not in a vacuum. The man is going to have opinions. What happens is they start to feed off those opinions. And I'm not saying all women, but I can speak for women that immigrated from India. I come from a culture, or I was born and raised in a culture where, family life is romanticized. I mean, I dreamed of having a beautiful family. I dreamed of, making home cooked meals for my sweet, sweet husband. Day after day, I'll pick up after the kids, and which I did in reality. Help them with their homework, push them to really be the best at school, teach them those morals and values, and the set of rules that guide you in life. When push comes to shove, I'm a firm believer in teaching the kids to help out in the household. So someday they will help out in their household, not expect all the work to be done by one person. And then real life catches on. It's not as romantic as it is, real life catches on. Every home has its problems. It's going to have its problems. Life weighs down on you. And when life weighs down on you, you either, as a woman, learn to survive or succumb. Women who are accomplished emotionally or financially will walk away. Um, or women who married well will also walk away, especially if they raised kids in that household, because they get half. Thank goodness they get half of their husbands because they helped raise those children. But what I'm seeing is most married women want to keep the peace at their home. Have you guys watched Kellyanne Conway and George Conway have conversations with Claudia? I mean, here are political people, people in the public sphere. They have children they have to raise at home, forming opinions. So then, how do you, as a woman, how do you raise your children to be obedient or to be strong, to have your own set of opinions? Are you raising your girls to say you must cook, learn to cook, because someday you'll have babies? I mean, I have to share this anecdote. Long time ago, when I had my firstborn, brand new. I had this friend, temporary, I would say, because she moved away. Um, she had Italian heritage, beautiful woman. In fact, I forgot her name. Um, she also had an infant at the same time, a couple of days in between, really. We were quite friendly with each other. We went to each other's homes, for dinners in Connecticut. And I will add this quote here. I was the traditional woman with my opinions on how it should be. What is the right versus the wrong? Um, I was shocked. This woman gave birth to a baby, and she was telling me she doesn't cook. I was, I remember being flabbergasted, completely shocked that she was okay with that position. And the shock came from the place of, wait a minute, you gave birth, you're learning to feed your baby from your breast, but you don't cook. How does that work? In retrospect, I am here to tell you how wonderful women can say that. How wonderful that women can equally be as bad as a man. I mean, and I'm going to say that it is not good for anyone to say, oh, I don't make sandwiches, I only eat outside. I say that to a man or a woman, my daughter or my sons, learn to make your sandwich. Learn to make something quick, something small, which is healthy when you make it at home. It's you can make magic out of sandwiches when you make them at home. But you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be lazy. You're allowed to choose what you don't want to do. And in retrospect, I am glad I met that woman who said, oh, I don't like to cook. And she and her husband did the cooking. And, it worked in their marriage. She had the baby. She was taking care of the baby, and husband did most of the cooking. Another friend just recently said, my husband doesn't cook at all, but he does all the cleaning. All the cleaning. Maintains the cleanliness. And we all know, we who have raised children know how much cleaning and how much cooking happens every single day to feed the household or to take care of the household. It's, a full-time job that is not paid for. So why should a woman pick up all of that unpaid work while she can get paid for doing that work outside? Is what we found out during the sexual revolution. So I am saddened, but I am not going to give up because I'm in a country where each of us have a voice. And I have noticed older women. I know older women are not for abortion restrictions. They are not for. I mean, look at the what do you call it, the referendums? No, they're not called referendum. Anyway, they had these amendments, referendums that people voted on, and it passed overwhelmingly. They wanted to keep abortion access untouched, like leave it alone, kind of thing. So older women care about it, yet they are not participating in the larger discussion of what are you guys doing to women's freedoms, because they don't want to rock the boat at home. And then, because while they are keeping quiet, not wanting to rock the boat at home, the husbands are talking, the daughters are talking, the sons are not talking because it doesn't affect them. And so I want to sound the alarm that we older women who are not in the privileged class cannot give up the fight. Each of us have a voice. And I will end this episode with something that's very endearing to me. When I moved here way back in the 90s, I moved here in 1993. The first thing I fell in love with, first thing I noticed so clearly, contrastingly, was empathy as a national American characteristic. I can't explain it to you guys, and I will be talking more about empathy and compassion. But that is something I noticed starkly in the United States. And if you look at all the policies, the social responsibility, the social, Medicare, Medicaid, the food stamps, they all come from empathy for the underprivileged and taking care, social responsibility. I had a German friend who talked about, she was about 5 when the American soldier and the Russian soldiers walked over, closer to her town. And she told me she was 5 years old when this happened. And she said, we were praying, we as in, her parents, the people she was with. She always tells me about this story where they were all sealed in an underground cellar, locked up by some, I don't know the specifics, but it was an awful situation. The soldiers locked them up. It was not the Americans. Someone locked them up and left, and they were praying that the American soldiers came first and not the Russian soldiers, because they were both progressing at the similar speed, and they were covering up areas, and they were like basically partitioning, fallen Germany into, okay, this area is ours and this area is yours. They prayed that the American soldiers came. Why? Because there was a moral code. That's what I love about this country, and I'm so proud to call myself an American. I'm so glad that I'm here, that I have a voice, and I can use it to help other women. So please stay with me, subscribe to my brand new channel, and send me your questions, feedbacks, anything. I would really appreciate. Thank you so much, and until next time.